to this music, please. What instrument is playing this music? Piano. Now let me tell you what are we going to do with this fun music. Let me put it a little soft. So we're going to act out this music. We're going to make like a little play with the music. So let me just tell you something, the story about this music. This music was composed by a French composer. You know what's a composer, right? The people that make up the music. Anybody that makes up music is called a composer. So this was a French composer, and his name was Claude Debussy. And this is how he looked like, Claude Debussy. Claude Debussy lived in France, and he was a great composer. He was famous and everybody loved his music. But besides being a great composer, Claude Debussy was a daddy. He had a little daughter. And I actually don't know the real name of the daughter because everybody called her Little Chouchou. See, chouchou is like a term of endearment in French. You know how here we say, honey, sweetie. Those are like sweet names to call children, when in France they say chouchou, which actually means little cabbage. But that's how they call everybody, Little Chouchou. See, this was Little Chouchou with Debussy in a picnic. And even on that book it says Debussy's picture with Chouchou, with his daughter Chouchou. So we don't know her real name. Everybody called her Chouchou. Well, Debussy was a really good daddy. So every night he would tell little Chouchou stories at night. But he was a composer. He knew how to make up music. So instead of telling her stories with words, he would tell them with music. Debussy had a beautiful big piano in his living room, and every night he would say, Chouchou, come, time for your story. And little Chouchou would bring her little bench or her little stool and sat next to her daddy. And Debussy would tell, tonight I'll tell you the story of a little shepherd boy. Only instead of telling what happened, he would just play the piano. And little Chouchou just sat there and imagined what was happening in the story. Another night he will say, tonight I'll tell you the story of the girl with golden hair. And he would play the piano, and Chouchou imagined what was happening in the story. And that way, Debussy made a whole book of stories for children, and he called it The Children's Corner. And it's a book of stories for children, but with music, without words. And this music that we were listening is one of those stories. The name of this story is Goligo's Cakewalk. Now, Goligos is the name of a boy, and Cakewalk is that game that sometimes you play in carnivals where you go around when the music plays, and when the music stops, you sit on a chair, and then every chair has a number, and if they draw the number of the chair that you're sitting on, you win a cake. That's a cakewalk. Sometimes in carnivals they play the cakewalk. Well, this music, this story is called Goligo's Cakewalk. Now, I really like this music, so I wanted to act it out, but I couldn't imagine anything with that name. So, since music has no words, I can imagine whatever I want. Just like Chouchou, I could imagine whatever I want with this music for the story. So we will act it out like this. We will pretend there's going to be a magician with a magic hat. So the magician is going to have a magic hat, and he will go hocus pocus, and he will take out some cards. And then he will go ploop, and just drop them. And then somebody will have gigantic cards, look at my gigantic cards, and we'll pretend that the cards came alive and they are dancing. Then the magician will go hocus pocus, and will take out a little rabbit, and he will go plop and drop it. And then some children will pretend to be rabbits. We have rabbit ears, and so some children will pretend to be rabbits. And then the magician again will go hocus pocus, and he will take out a scarf. And then everybody will have scarves, and everybody will dance with scarves. So that's how we will act it out. We will pretend a magician's act. I'll show you how.